Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, dear class, Assalamu alaikum. I am to present International Monetary System as I could not be part of any uh, past presentation or presentation groups due to my health issues and requesting Professor Ershad Sahib to accept my presentation in this form. And thank you in advance. International monetary system has a long history, and I am to deal that history to the present stage of monetary system. Uh, Let me start it. International monetary system. International monetary systems are sets of internationally agreed rules, conventions, and supporting institutions that facilitate international trade, cross border investments, and generally the allocation of capital between the nation states. International monetary system refers to the system prevailing in the world foreign exchange markets through which international trade and capital movement are financed and exchange rates are determined. When we talk about in the world, there should be an international monetary system. What features that IMS should possess? It must be efficient and unrestricted flow of. It should have efficient and unrestricted flow of international trade and investment. Then stability in foreign exchange aspects, promoting balance of payments adjustment to prevent disruption associated to it, providing countries with sufficient liquidity to finance temporary balance of payment deficits. It should uh, at least try to avoid adding further uncertainty, and it should be allowing member countries to pursue independent monetary and fiscal policies. And now we see what are the requirements of a good international monetary system. Uh, Three things are there: adjustment, stability, and confidence, and liquidity. And now we see what are these things. Adjustment. A good system must be able to adjust imbalances in balance of payment quickly and at a relatively lower cost. Stability and confidence. The system must be able to keep exchange rates relatively fixed, and people must have confidence in the stability of the system. And third thing is liquidity. The system must be able to provide enough reserve assets for a nation to correct its balance of payments, payment deficit, without making the nation run into deflation or inflation. Now we see the history. There are four major phases. Sorry, there are five major phases, four and four by the mistake, inserted two times. Stages in international monetary system. First one is bimetallism. Bimetallism. Uh, we will see in the detail that what is bimetallism after this. Second thing is classical gold standard. Sorry, bimetallism was before 1875. Second was classical gold standard. It remained from 1875 to 1914, before First World War. Then interwar period 1915 to 1944, between two world wars. Then Bretton Woods system 1945 to 1972 almost. This period over. Then we have had and still present the flexible exchange rate regime, that is from 1973 to present age. What was bimetallism? Bimetallism, as it denotes, bi mean two, metal mean metal. There were two metals that were used for trade and exchange the commodities, silver and gold. Gresham's law. Gresham's law is an economic principle that states if coins containing metal of different values have the same value at legal tender, the coins composed of cheaper metal will be used for the payment, while those made of more expensive metal will be hoarded. Uh, the law was named in 1860 by Henry Dunning MacLeod after Sir Thomas Gresham, who was an English financier during the Tudor dynasty. However, there are numerous predecessors also. Now, gold eagle. This is the image of first United States gold coin that was made in 1795. Now, classical gold standard from 1875 to 1914. What was this? During this period, in most major countries, gold alone was assured of unrestricted coinage. There was two-way convertibility between gold and national currencies at a stable ratio. Gold could be freely exported or imported. The exchange rate between two countries' currencies would be determined by the relative gold contents, gold reserves. Rules of the system. In the gold standard system, each country defined the value of its currency in terms of gold. Exchange rate between any two currencies was calculated as X currency per ounce of gold and Y currency per ounce of gold. A third point was that these exchange rates was set by the arbitrage depending on the transportation cost of the gold. And then central banks are restricted in not being able to issue more currency than gold reserves. Like that, if 1 ounce gold is in $30, it was equal to €6. So 6 by 6 is equal to 1, and 30 by 6 is equal to 5. Like it was like that. $5 US dollars were equal to €1. Sorry, 1 pound. It is 1 pound. Sorry, I couldn't correct it. It is pound. Classical gold standard, highly stable exchange rates under the classical gold standard provided an environment that was favorable to to international sorry to international trade and investment. Uh, Misalignment of exchange rates and international imbalances of payment were automatically corrected by the price specie flow mechanism. Arguments. Some parties favored this gold standard and some of the world were in opposition to it. Uh, the arguments who were in the favor were that price stability. By trying the money supply to the supply of gold, central banks are unable to expand the money supply, facilitate BOP, balance of payment adjustment automatically. Price specie flow mechanism was also there. Arguments against gold standard. Why this was not good. The growth of output and the growth of gold supplies are closely linked. Volatility in the supply of gold could cause adverse shocks to the economy. In practice, monetary Authorities may not be forced to strictly uh, tie their hands in limiting the creation of money. Countries with a respectable monetary policy makers cannot use monetary policy to fight domestic issues like unemployment. Then interwar period. Interwar period remained 1915 to 1944. Exchange rates fluctuated as countries widely used predatory depreciations of their currencies as mean of the gaining advantage in world export. Then attempts were made to restore the gold standard, but participants lacked the political will to follow the rule of the game. The world economy characterized by the tremendous instability and eventually economic breakdown, what is known as Great Depression, 1930 to 1939. Interwar period, international economic disintegration. Many countries suffered during the Great Depression. Many economic harms was done uh, by the restriction on national trade and payments. These bigger the neighbor policies uh, provoked foreign retaliations and led to the disintegration of the world economy. All countries' situation could have been better uh, through international cooperation and Bretton Woods Agreement. Now we see Bretton Woods system after global financing, after the establishment of global financing organizations like IMF, World Bank, and other subsidiary organizations. This system has these uh, principal pillars. Bretton Woods system 1945 to 1972, named for a 1944 meeting of the 44 nations at Bretton Woods, New Hemisphere. The purpose was to design a post war international monetary system. The goal was exchange rate stability without the gold standard. Result, the result was the creation of IMF and World Bank. As I was saying, that these are the principal pillars of this system. IMF, what was the purpose of IMF? Maintain order in the monetary system. World Bank, promote general economic development. And in features of Bretton Woods system. Under the Bretton Woods system, the US dollar was pegged to the to gold at $35 per ounce, and other currencies were pegged to the US dollars. Now the standard is adopted as the US dollar as standard. Each country was responsible for the maintaining its exchange rate fixed within the 1% plus minus of the adopted per value by buying or selling foreign reserves as necessary. The Bretton Woods system as dollar-based gold exchange standard, like that. Dollar is pegged to the gold, and every currency is pegged to dollar. This is the image that British pound, the German mark, franc mark, par value has to the US dollar, and US dollar has pegged at $35 per ounce to the gold. The demise of the Bretton Woods system. In the early post war, the US government had to provide dollar reserves to all countries who wanted to intervene in their currency markets. The increasing supply of dollars worldwide made available through programs like the Marshall Plan mean that the credibility of the gold backing of the dollar was in question. US dollar held abroad grew rapidly, and this represented a claim on US gold stocks and caused some doubt on US ability to convert dollar into gold upon request. Now we see the flexible exchange rate regime 1973 to the present age. Flexible exchange rate regime. Uh, Flexible exchange rates were declared acceptable to the IMF members. Then gold was abandoned as an international reserve asset. The currencies are no longer backed by gold. This is flexible exchange rate regime. Now, current exchange rate arrangement has some principal factors like free float, managed float, pegged to another currency, and no national currency. Uh, we see the detail that what is free float. The largest number of countries, about 48, allows market first to determine their currency's value. As Now, Pakistan is also facing that free float of dollar currency, as we have limited export, and internal reserves are also decreasing day by day. Then the standard is like that US in international markets. So when we are and we have been pegged to the dollar, then our currency is in our currency has great decrease, continuous decrease in its value. Managed float, about 25 countries combine government agreement intervention with market forces to set exchange rates. This is managed float. Pegged to another currency such as the US dollar or euro. Some currencies as pegged to these currencies. No national currency. Some countries don't bother printing their own currency, they just use the US dollar. For example, Ecuador, Panama, and have dollarized now. This was all from my side, and if somebody has a question, uh, you can ask the question in the group also. And thank you very much.